a marching drum, we'll win the war and pay the toll. We'll fight as one in heart and soul. Midnight mare and blood red roan, fight to keep this land your own. Sound the horn and call the cry. How many of them can we make die? Axes flash, rifles swing, shining armors piercing a ring. Houses run with a polished shield. Fight those bastards till they yield. Midnight mare, blood red roan, fight to keep this land your own. Sound the horn and call the cry. How many of them can we make die? How many of them can we make die? How many of them can we make die?
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Don for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper, so your life can be controlled. pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt. Put men of God in jail. Harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first hour of the afternoon intelligence report. I'm Mark Kornke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, north, south, west, and northeast. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and alternate Hallmark and Golden Spike technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, that's the continental United States, the lower 48, along with the outlying two states, the territories, and the clock, 5:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Communications Tuesday. It is the 8th of September. It is the 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020. Old Earth calendar, 2020, year of conflict, year of betrayal, dance of swords, battle for the Republic. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There is no way you're going to get out of a fight with all the BS that is presently being generated. All of the regular networks are priming the pump. If this were any other situation in any other country, their sorry ass would be taken out and shot. Unfortunately, we are dealing with communists that are right through the whole system. You paid for this with the public fool system. The idiot sticks that you have were allowed to get away with too much, and now here we are. So this is why we were talking about American War for Independence quite some time ago, and of course, you know what? We should have kicked it off in late '94 and been done with it. We'd be finished by now. It would have been over, and the enemy would have been gone. Now, as it is, the same situation and the same scenario plays out. Same end result. They will be gone. It's going to be about an 8-year war. It's going to be long, and it's going to be a mess. However, we got the thinkers, they got the stinkers. We also have the builders. They have the I wants. All of them are I want parasites. That's all that they are. And the only way that they can possibly, get what they want is they're expecting your time to be their time. And it doesn't make any difference if you're black, yellow, white, pink, purple. When it comes to parasites, they'll suck off everybody's wallet. And that's exactly how they're thinking about doing it right now. So, we have a lot of work to do. Number one, signal communications. Every chance that you can, you want to keep putting batteries away. Now, watch at yard sales. I got something interesting this weekend. Actually, I got more than yard sales. Everybody clearing things out, or estate sales that are, closed. And I ended up with a pile of rechargeable batteries of different types. Now, here's what you got to be careful of, and I've mentioned this many times. Nickel hydride, NiCad, the cheapy little standard NiCad, which, again, were designed for short pulse, small input and small output. The quality's up and down, and they will work for any of your other equipment, but remember, each one of these may require, like the Ion, you may want to get you're not only you're going to need another charger for certain batteries. Now, in each case, you can charge them, but remember, it's, it's kind of like you got a special exotic animal that wants to eat certain tit juice, okay? It's that simple. Nom, nom, nom. Got to have a certain flavor. It doesn't work. That's the best way to describe it. If you don't understand electronics, just think, mama juice. They need certain mama juice. Yum, 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 yum. Your different chargers generate different frequencies, different output, and then, serve the battery they were designed for. But there are some universal chargers. I did get about 3 of those out of the pile of 10 or 20 I picked up. All of them have been sorted already, and I ended up with enough batteries to go 2 or 3 for the other machine shops and have spare battery racks. I've got a little carousel, actually a nice portable caddy. I wouldn't normally have bought it. It was like $800. It was like $80, and it's got all the different chargers and testers and everything on it. But it would be $80, but I got it for free. So it's loaded now. I took all the batteries I had that made sense and were related, loaded them up, and it's now a battery pack for any of you if we end up in the field. We need night vision to be able to keep it running if you use whatever size batteries, including 9-volt. Don't forget 9-volt batteries. Do not forget 9-volt batteries. Make sure you have some 9-volt batteries in your kits. Every once in a while, you're going to run into stuff that's a little older, and 9-volt was the go-to power source for a very long time before the 123 battery was the other exotic was in motion. Now, the 9-volt was standard because of transistor radios. That's where the big, power jump took place way back when. It used to be you'd have a couple of double Ds, a couple of Ds, maybe 2 Cs, could have any number of different specialized batteries that aren't gone. They're gone. They're not around anymore. Side by side, basically big versions of the 9-volt that were D cell size. I've got a couple pieces of equipment. They made adapters. They were so common that eventually in the 70s and 80s they made adapters for those. And so I've got those to go along with the few pieces of equipment that take the side-by-side D snaps. There's all kinds of odd stuff out there. Now, remember, don't get panicked about that because it's not a big deal to adapt another power source. And if it was an older piece of equipment, it typically took a bigger battery. So the neat thing is you can go to a smaller rechargeable. In fact, you can go to any number of scientific companies, and now the AA and AAA, they're a dime a dozen for a battery case that'll sit right inside where that double D was. I just got a beautiful little AM, FM shortwave hand-crank solar-powered radio that's about less than the size of it's only 2/3 the size of a cigar box. A real good job of adapting cell phone, wireless phone battery packs to the unit was done, and it's perfect. I can still use the standard AA batteries, and this is a gimme. I got this for free in a big pile of other stuff. But it really is a neat idea that, again, all of you can do this. It's not rocket science. Well, it was rocket science in the 60s. What do you think transistors were for? Satellites, weapons technology, and then we got some because they decided to need to sell some to make profit off what they were using to bomb people with or get ready to nuke you with, okay? That simple. Now, with that said, all these power supplies, there are a bunch of different items out there. So you want a battery cornucopia, and where you can save, at least for the short term, to get something power, is to go to Dollar Tree. Don't forget that. Dollar Tree's got 9-volt Cs, Ds, AA's, AAA's, even 1, 2, 3. at some locations, sorry about that, a little four-pod keyboard operator helping me. In addition to that, we have, every once in a while, other batteries show up. Remember that Big Lot and, and Dollar Tree, to a degree were originally, well, Dollar Tree's not so much. Now it's mostly China Sport. But originally it was also like an excess distress store, and it still is. But it's only about 10%. So you will find every once in a while, and first place to look is up by the cash registers where all the stores usually put their new doodads or odd doodads that they want to move. And you will find, like I did today, I found some other batteries at Dollar Tree I didn't expect to find there, and I grabbed those. You won't find them at every store because Dollar Tree sends regional material to their stores. And what they send, the manager doesn't get to choose. Dollar Tree is a complete artificial intelligence run company. So it just catch as you catch can. And it varies from one region to the next, one district to the next as far as some of the stuff. Now, there are consistent products, that makes up 80%. So the neat thing is wherever Dollar Tree you go into, if I say go here, you'll probably find it right there, which is good. Okay, that's like the battery. There's the end cap full of batteries. Well, when the time comes, maybe one of you should take your little card and go in when the feces hits the oscillating device and just buy every stinking battery pack there because they will be needed, okay? So that should be on your list of things to do when the time comes. Whatever's left, doesn't make a difference what it is, AA, AAA, Cs, Ds, 1, 2, 3s, watch batteries, which everybody's grossly underestimating the need for, but there's a lot of trinket stuff that would be kind of handy. Example, I've been getting a massive quantity of brand new in the box window and door alarms, the little watch battery or AAA battery models. Guys, those are great for putting out in front with a little string and staking up high and just pull them. What you have is just a pull switch so that you pull them apart because they're magnetic. And the moment you pull it apart and reel that in, you can't shut the thing off until the battery dies. Now remember that those things are designed and used just like fire extinguishers, or fire alarms, not fire extinguishers, although, yeah, there's some overhead units that do this too. Making noise that is designed to irritate the human physiology. It's designed to modify and hurt your nervous system. That way you don't sit there complacently, and hopefully even if you're like in a bit of a delirium from you've been breathing in smoke and didn't know it, you'll wake up and you'll get your ass out of Dodge and save yourself, hopefully. If not, somebody else will hear the alarm and maybe save you. So this is why these are really cool devices for just mucking with their heads. You put these in hallways, in air ducts, where there's nothing they can do about it. Put it down an air duct. So far it can't be reached overhead. You install it with a ladder. You put a pull string on it. You're running down the hallway as you go, and the job of one person who's a non-combatant is, as the enemy is turning the corner back there and running around the hallway too, you pull the last 2 or 3 strings at the end of the hallway, and that's all they hear. That's more of what they hear. It's more background clutter. It's junk noise. Junk noise, everything helps on the battlefield to screw with your enemy. Always remember that. And you can make them so they come up from below, make them so they're sounding from above, put them up in the trees, whatever you want to do. It's unnerving because it also demonstrates you know right where they are. At the very least, it creates paranoia that you must know right where they are. You see how that works? Oh, man, they kind of really are zeroed on us. Maybe we're not. Maybe our non-combatants are just doing their job like they were told. Pull the string, run like hell to the next location. When I tell you to pull the next thing and hit the next switch and launch the other flare, you do that. Fire, pull, fire, gone. Run to the next position. Everybody can have a job, and everybody can participate in the battle without being exposed heavily to what it is going to be done. Now, these are gimmick noises. This is just junk noise. They don't think this is going to win a battle, but it will disrupt the enemy. It will misdirect the enemy. In the meantime, it's your weapons, your indirect fire, your air support, your small arms fire, your automatic weapons fire. All that fights and wins battles. It's that simple. So we need more of all of that too. Okay. With regard to communications, another thing, again, guys, there's estate sales galore. Go to Facebook Marketplace, clear them out of radio equipment. I sent 2 people to a yard sale. They got 28 CB radios, 6 of them brand new in the box. They paid $100 for all the radios at the end of the estate sale. They got all the antennas, they got all the radios, they got extra microphones. This guy had a big pile of stuff. Apparently was with a police department, but he also was with some civil defense or watch group probably. And there were the microphones, for instance, the mics were extended mics of the kinds you used to see in the police cars and still do to a degree. They got to be able to reach from the middle of the dash where the radio is, across and through everything, so you can hand it across and to the guy so the guy can stand, on the other side of the car and shout at you with the megaphone. This is the police. Surrender now. We only want to take you to the detention camp where you will die. Okay, that kind of thing. So anyway. Other things, real quick, batteries and, of course, charging systems. Do not throw any old charging systems away. Maybe you don't need it. Make up a box for electronics. Chargers, if you don't use them, we may use them. And don't forget that we have lots of geeks, so maybe you don't know how to switch something out, but we do. And given the opportunity, since necessity will be the mother of invention, everybody is going to be doing their part and will be taught certain tasks, and that will be your specialty. That's how it works. You're going to be given a special MOS or a task. Now, this is kind of like production. Everybody's going, man, you're buying all the drills. What are you going to do with all the drills? Well, the same thing I'm going to do with the drill presses and drill frames and everything else. Bob does this drill hole on this plate over and over again 1,000 times. He drills the hole, he slides the plate to the next workstation. The next workstation picks it up. That particular jig guides for another hole. This is how you can do step-by-step mass production with lower tech equipment and crank a pile of stuff out. If you need to make mortar rounds, if you need to make anti-tank weapons, if you need to make mines, and you want to produce the sufficient quantity that you need, you better be thinking in advance. Grab all the drill bits, all the files, all the screwdrivers, all of the wrenches, anything that you can find, if it's either free or almost free. I just got one pile. A gentleman passed away. His wife's selling everything because she wants to go out to San Francisco. Oh, God. But anyway, there's a couple of people I run into like that, and it's like, that's not exactly the place you want to go right now, even by any leftist standards, okay? However, personal life choice. But I did make a really nice deal on a number of different toolboxes. This included wrenches, extended long body wrenches, guides and pins, sockets, but also a whole big bundle of drill bits. In fact, 5 peanut butter jars, well sealed, everything well oiled, lubricated and clean, and sorted by general size. So we really can't beat the price for what it is when you go to these things. As I pointed out, one of the tool and die men that one of the yard sales guy was a tool and die man. I brought another person in on this one. I did not had a list, and we came in and we swept the place out. We got probably, I'd say, $40,000 worth of tooling for probably about a grand total of $300, maybe at the most. And everything, we took everything. Why? Because it was so gobbled up because the kids didn't know what they had, so they just put it in buckets. We got every bucket. Why? Because some of the stuff that you needed from one bucket was in the other bucket. And by the time you're done, we're talking a complete machine shop or a tool and die for master tooling to make the tools that make what you need, the tools to make what you need in the way of other tools. Guys, we need to preserve this. You're serious about the war, you can't just think short term, you have to think logistics. You need to think production. You have to think food production. Another thing Nancy was checking on today, just a heads up, canning lids. Canning lids can't be found anywhere, and the ones they do have, they want like outrageous prices for. I mean, to the point where if you, as we told everybody a year ago and 6 months ago and 3 months ago, buy them. Well, a lot of other people did, and maybe they were listening, and maybe they listened through whatever source. But if you were planning on canning, say you put a garden in the beginning of the year, you should have been buying right then lids, rings, anything and everything to get your hands on. And at least watch yard sales, okay? Because there's tons of this stuff that's come with the yard sale, but you got to be there first, and that means when they open up and go through and find them, okay? Lids can't be had for the most part. So here's a little trick. Go to every hardware that you know of that's an odd man out, or any dry goods store that is the odd man out in any of these little dot towns. Look to see what they have on the shelf. Not everybody has thought about that. And not everybody has heard, or actually they think mostly big chain store must have big stuff. Big chain store, clean it out, now there's none. Hardware stores have canning lids. A bunch of them do. Of course, the problem is that most people that go to the hardware store usually are looking for canning lids too, and if they're smart, they've already been shopping. But it's a place to check. It's a place to look. You can try. The other thing here again is get a food dryer. If you're looking like you're going to be canning, but now you found out you can't, you're going to either have to freeze it, dry it, and or vacuum pack it, which you can vacuum pack too. Now you can even do wet vacuum pack, but you're going to have to look at the technologies, and you're going to have to invest right now. Drying's not hard. There's all kinds of dryers out there. There's all kinds of slow and faster technology. Invest in whatever you're going to invest in, but do it now. And keep in mind that, by the way, this is just for this season. What about next season? When somebody goes, well, why would I buy a food dryer for this season? Because you're going to need it from this point forward. Okay, this is the end of a lot of whatever you thought the country was going to be, or that you've been used to, and you already can see this. They're just lying through their teeth. In fact, God, look at the lies that are being generated just bare-faced skunk. Just wretched, absolute, rotten people, and they're coming out of the woodwork everywhere, people. And they even if let's say that you got somebody on CNN, they got April Ryan. Trump has instigated a race war in America. It doesn't make any difference whether or not that rotten, bewitched pig believes it or not. She's spewing it in front of a camera and promoting it. Okay? I don't care about Trump. I really don't. If you were to ask me, no, because I don't think that Trump's doing the same thing that the other one's doing. It's just Trump is more cognizant of what he's doing working for foreigners. But the other character coming in would be worse than Woodrow Wilson. But again, it's a Democrat doing this. Think about it. With Biden coming in real quick, Biden's going to be like Woodrow Wilson after his first couple of years. Everybody understands that Woodrow Wilson had a series of strokes. And very quietly, they didn't talk about it until the one got so bad they had to make him disappear from sight. His wife theoretically ran the White House along with Colonel House. But Colonel House already had Wilson's ear, and that piece of crap is what brought about the attempt to try and shove the UN down our throats right after World War I, which is what World War I was designed to do, to destroy the sovereignty of the United States. All the rest are irrelevant. They were all sold out anyway. And all the UN garbage is just the monarchy and the monarchical crap all over again, just historically recycled, rehashed, and given a new package name. We shot them out of here before. We are going to have to shoot them out of here now. Not maybe, not kind of, not sort of. We're done. It's finished. The goose is cooked as far as if we let them go any farther, and as it is, they're going to try. We're going to have to put their arse down hard. Now, all the things we're talking about, well, what good will my little blah, blah, blah? You're less of a burden to everybody else if you have your blah, blah, blah in order. And I don't care what it is. Anything and everything that you can do for yourself means that all of the other mechanically mass-produced reserves, in theory, could be directed to more critical issues. And again, most important here is we need dispersal of technology. We cannot go centralized. We're going to have to go 50 million micro. What do I mean by 50 million? 50 million micro manufacturing locations, everyone capable of producing, and each one could, if need be, produce the exact same product or comparable product. We don't care if it's exactly the same, even who cares? It's like food production. You know what? You're going to find out what hungry is if you're a soldier, especially if you're in the militia. I don't care, the Army or pampered. My God, they're driving around in wussy buses. Did anybody catch this? There are people commenting about what's going out in Kingman, and they're going through. Well, these characters are in wussy buses. They're all plush buses. I'm sure they all got they're sitting on their dead ass. Ain't none of them hard in any way, shape. Oh, well, they're hard body. Yeah. Well, no, they're not. But I don't have a problem with that. Whatever the hell these characters are doing, whatever the plan is, we have to be ready for it and roll with a punch and punch back harder and kick them in the throat. And kick them in the crotch when the time comes. But we need to be prepared across the board. Go ahead, caller, jump in there.
Yeah, it's Darzak. Today, as part of my son's education, When he finishes geometry, we do civics. Well, civics this year is going over all of the government intrusions and false flags that have happened. And we started with the Oklahoma City bombing. And I realized, no, we got to put Waco in there. So last week we did Oklahoma City, and he did all that. Today we did he actually Friday and Monday he did the review of it, because what I give him is the government perspective on it, the government reports, the lies, the propaganda. I give him that first, and he's supposed to study that, and he takes notes, and then we go in and we show him the reality. Well, today, as his first dose of reality, I gave him what would be considered a middle-of-the-road thing, Waco rules of engagement. When you see the hearings that they had back in 90, I guess it was 94, when they had the hearings back then, that was 2 years actually, probably 95. They had hearings back then, and there was actually back and forth in the hearings. There was stuff brought out. There was none of this, we have to take this into private consultation and put it in the back room so nobody can see it. They put all this stuff out in the public face, and you were right in the middle of it. You knew what was going on. To watch those people, especially the Possum Schumer, he was up there, just deflecting and lying, and to watch these people, the ATF guys, the FBI guys, just get up there and lie, flat out lie. The FBI, we didn't shoot one bullet the whole time we were there, and we got the FLIR shots from above showing the automatic fire while they were going in and bulldozing the building with those fighting vehicles. I would love for everybody to go and just review that and see that that is not what's happening today. You have got outright propaganda today because of the Smith Modernization Act, where now they can propagandize us. They have no fear of it. They have no reason to give us the truth. And all of this stuff that's going on, why is nobody talking about anything about this, the PCR test and the false positives? And why is it like every place that I hear any news about this COVID thing, everybody's digging in deeper. We got to have more restrictions. We got to have more masks. We got to have more tracking. Got a story from my wife today. Somebody at work had a relative whose husband worked somewhere where somebody was diagnosed. Well, everybody at the place had to get tested, and he comes up diagnosed, so they had to test her, and she comes up diagnosed. So now the two of them are quarantined for 14 days. She gets a call the next day from the Board of Health saying, we need to know all the people that you've been around for the last blah, blah number of days. And she says, I'm not going to tell you that. And so they, have 15 other questions to give her and stuff. And she was on the phone for a while. They eventually got around to, have you ever been diagnosed with dementia? And she said, this conversation has ended, and hung up on her.
Have you ever been diagnosed? To the government, all I can say is, have you ever been diagnosed with lead poisoning? Because you're going to be. I mean, that's where as far as I'm concerned, the crazy towns. I went to a store. This is getting worse. We just went to the store today. There's this guy in front of me. I don't go into the stores. If I do, it's going to be with a full chem suit and a battle mask, guys. I am not going in with a coffee filter on. I've already decided if I absolutely have to go in. And I'm going to put a sign on the back for all you neurotic hypochondriacs with paranoid police state tendencies. If you're serious, this is what you should be wearing. Otherwise, shut the hell up. Blank up. Okay? Yep. But I'm looking at this guy, and he's sitting in his car, and he's got his windows rolled up, and he's patting down he's patting. Now, he's not rubbing. This is what's interesting. And that told me that's almost like former military or something. Because, guys, remember, you don't rub, you pat a contamination area, right? But either that or it's just the way he was thinking he needed to do it. But he's got these little wipey things, but he's in the car, and he pulls in, and he never left the car. The other person left the car. But he's patting the dash, and I thought, oh, that's what drew my attention. I was like, what's he doing? But then what got me is he's got this yellow face mask on. And, guys, it looked like he'd used it for a combination snot rag and a grease rag. He had like this smear across on an angle that was like probably his fingers. But this guy he had the windows rolled up. He dropped the wife, I assume, off by the front door like I did. he pulled into the parking space, and then he's sitting there, and he's wearing the full face mask. He's totally paranoid, but what he's wearing has probably got more disease in it right now, and he's constantly wearing it. It's got more bacteria and crap that will hurt you than anything you could possibly breathe in public right now.
Or he could probably walk in and lick the floor in the store and not have as much disease on him.
It would probably be as clean. I'm serious. I mean, I'm looking at these people, and again, guys, you just want, I really do, I want to throttle these people. I'm to the point where I'm utterly disgusted with whatever, it's a combination of, again, I think, subliminal projection with whatever idiot stick stuff they're watching. I believe it's the fluoride in the water. I believe it's the Prozac or whatever. And a lot of this is government drugs. Really, I'm serious about this because, you know, it's like the Zoloft, 20 million additional prescriptions for Zoloft because everybody feels so bad. Well,
yeah, like 56% of the population is on the brain chemicals.
Right, that's right out of Brave New World / George Orwell, 1984. And these characters, none of them are happy. Even when they talk back and forth, everybody is down. They all look down at the ground. Their elbows are tucked in. Their shoulders are forward. And everybody, and the only thing I would say is that it's to the point where you watch these people, and again, they get in the car and they're still wearing the mask and they're going down the road and they're by themselves. And it's like, what amazing cloud of yellow marsh gas rolled into your car while you were gone that you feel that you have to wear the mask going down the road? I have not seen any big yellow clouds of coronavirus anywhere, okay? But this is, and the other thing that pisses me off is, where are the PPE, personal protective equipment disposal bins? Because, and another thing, why are we allowing, let's do this. Why are we allowing all these people to wear a mask once and then use it again? Why are we allowing that? Is this serious? Are you serious about, yes, I'm serious. Yeah, your life at risk if you don't wear that? Yeah, I do. But then why are you wearing the same one? What? Well, okay, you do know why they came up with paper disposable face masks, so that every time you use it, you throw it away. Now, granted, a lot of people are doing this as part of their communist ritual of go along to get along and let the commies have that much more power. Let's understand that. It's submission, and it basically, and I agree with what somebody said last night in a little conversation we had back and forth in one of the media sites, is basically it's a way for them to remind you about a fake-ass, non-existent plague by having everybody wear a coffee filter on their face, because if they were serious, you'd be disposing of all this crap like it was truly biological hazard. You would ask any nurse or doctor when they come out, do you save that for the next operation to save the store money, to save your hospital money? Do you do that? Well, no. And in fact, they even wear disposable gowns. Half of them wear rewashable, half of them, because they all wear scrubs. But then you wear an outer garment layer, and it typically is a disposable paper frock, disposable rubber gloves, disposable face mask, and a disposable head net. Do you think that they hang those up outside and reuse those things, people?
No, they give them to the orderlies.
Yeah, yeah. For the other people, we're going to save money. What do you mean? Well, I don't know what that person had in there, because we're going to claim that they died of coronavirus, but we're going to save money, and we're going to give all the stuff that was in that contaminated, polluted, evil coronavirus room just now, we're going to give it to the staff because we need to save cash there. Don't you know? That's really how stupid this stuff is. But it really, this is what everybody's saying. The guys from Monty Python have said this several times. What used to be a joke, they thought it was a joke. They didn't, they were like, we were fooling. We didn't tell you to use it as a roadmap towards stupidity. But it's exactly what you're seeing. In fact, anything we could be satirical about right now is the reality of these numbnuts that we have on the street right now, the next step. Seriously, think about it. Now, everything we're joking about, which I'm joking about them because I think, again, dumb as a box of rocks, I don't know where their brains went. I said this to several people publicly last night and the day before. I don't know where their brains went. Where did people's brains go? And the reason I say this is because didn't you all have, you did. I know this because the consistent mandatory public fool system scam dictated that you all had to have some science classes in high school. If you really were, old enough, we had science classes in junior high school, which we did, and all of them talked about bacteria and virus and contamination and how to deal with, and, the history of, and, Mr. Pasteur. And let's not forget all of the other important scientists that, of course, every step of the way gave you everything that you can imagine in the way of science as we know it, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So we had all of that, but we also had biology, which talked about everything from genetics to, again, bacteria, virus, mutation, all of that. Did everybody lose their head? But here's the thing. Number two. You may have gone to college. And if you went to college, you also were told in college you had to have a certain number of science classes, no matter what. Didn't make any difference if you were taking basket weaving 406. If you're going to be a master basket weaver, you still, to the rest of those teachers, those professors employed or their sub-professors, you were all told you got to take a couple or 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 or 10 hours of science, including chemistry and biology. And it varies from college to college, but it is a dictate. You do not get a choice in this. You get a sub-choice in which of the variations, molecular biology, you can take, protein biology, blah, 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 blah. You write down there's a whole bunch of subcategories. But no matter what, the basics do not change, okay? So there's a second area where I have to go, well, did all of your brains walk away? But now let's go to number 3. It doesn't make any difference whether or not you went to college. How many of you worked for Ford, GM, or Chrysler? How many of you worked for any institution like a college or the state? God help you if it was the state or the Fed. How many classes have you had on safety? On safety. On safety. And what kind of safety? Well, that run by OSHA, okay, an EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, which, by the way, extensively covers everything from conventional naturally occurring contamination through to man-made biological and chemical contamination and decontamination and what? Protection. PPE. Now, this is federally dictated and state dictated, but state comes from the Fed. Okay, so you get like a double tap there. So how many of you were in an institution like one of the big 3 or any of the other corporations, General Electric, I don't give a snot which one it was. You have all had classes on PPE, personal protective equipment, to one degree or another. In fact, in the last 30 years, even I don't care if it was a window washer, a custodian, a kitchen laborer, a nuclear physicist, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. If you were in any of those institutions, you have a mandatory series of classes that not only did you get, but every year you have to retake again. Am I right or am I wrong? And I won't wait for anybody else. I know I'm right. So where did all those people's brains go? And I've insulted some people. I said, a couple of them I worked with actually retired. Didn't walk around with a mask, worried about, and then he finally admitted, well, I'm wearing a mask because I didn't want to, offend anybody. It's like, yeah, well, you're in America here. Everybody here is not wearing a mask. Oh, okay. It's okay. Well, then all of a sudden he decided he wasn't going to wear a mask. I said, now let me ask you something. And I went right through what I just did with you here on the air, people. I says, now, didn't you go to high school? Yep. Didn't you go to college? Yep. I graduated 4 years. Okay. Didn't you go to work for the University of Michigan? Nope. Did you work for what? Oh, that's right. You were working with chemicals and other technologies, weren't you? And you had to have all those MIOSHA and U of M OSHA and federal OSHA classes, not only on the threat. First of all, what was your work? What was your work tasks? Then they look at a cross schedule and it says, oh, you're going to be handling this, and this. Oh, because of that, you need a class on chemical virology and virus technology threats, and of course, defenses, how to protect yourself, PPE. And by the way, you're also dealing with some chemicals that will kill you so dead that if you touch them, you're dead. I mean, like in 5, 6, 10 seconds. Probably should wear a bodysuit, so we got to have another class on using the complete bodysuit with space tanks, the whole 9 yards, in an enclosed space. Now, guys, they built this stinking, rotten, parasitic, massive bureaucracy so they could turn around and make everybody look like a bunch of stinking idiots. And I'm disgusted with, the more I watch this, I'm not displeased. I am disgusted with stupid people. And stupid people aren't going to tell me what to do, but by God, I will put their butts down. That's how you all better get, you better dig your heels in, because no matter how we look at this, we got to get rid of this garbage. And that means we're going to war. We're already at war. No matter what happens, the shipwreck is in November. And if you didn't see it, actually, there was an excellent piece. I'm going to have to share this way. And again, it's another guy talking. I'm talking. I'll talk your ear off for 2 hours here and another hour later on in the day, and hopefully tweak your brain and force you to acknowledge certain things, or maybe just jog your memory. A lot of you are already up to speed because you've been listening to this for a very long time. Most of you, if you were listening, are smiling because you bought your guns when they were half the price they are now. When we recommended it, you all bought your ammunition when it was a quarter the price from what it is now because you listened. A lot of you have gas masks that are a hell of a lot cheaper for the same damn gas mask. Darn gas mask. Forgive me, I keep doing that. That you bought, and if you buy it now, first you can't find it, but if you can, then they want to charge you a lot more for it. Okay? Dan Bongino, the guy that was a former Secret Service, he's got his own little talk show thing going on. It's the Dan Bongino Show, okay? And the piece that he did is talking about the major media openly talking about coup d'etat against Trumpet, okay, against the regime. Now, and I don't care. I call it a regime. I don't care which one's in there because it is. They're regimes. Okay, they are. Okay, I don't care what you don't. Oh, it's a government. They're regimes. But what's fascinating is this regime has a whole bunch of asshats that we were told we'd never have hired that are all globalists that Trump brought in. So he knew he was hiring globalists. He knew he was hiring traitors. He liked hiring the traitors. He bought Fauci in. He's just one of the other traitors in the mix, working at us and scamming us from one direction while the others attack us and scam us from the other, and supposedly we'll be pushed into the police state camp because, oh, save us from the Antifa, but give us a bigger police state. No, let me surrender my freedoms. Oh! Now, you know what? Both of them are enemies. And because of that, y'all better be organized, armed, equipped, and trained as militia and ready to go. But here's the thing, and this is an excellent piece, and forgive me, there's not a title on it, so it would have been sometime in the last day or two here. But it is, let me see if I can get a date off his program. The reason I bring this up, it's only 11 minutes and 14 seconds long. In fact, we're not going to play it right now, but Edward, I think, well, I can't get it to you. Yeah, I could. Maybe I can get into Discord. Let me see if I can get into Discord. If I can play it. I'll have to play it here. That's why I can do that off the system. But, and again, this is another guy's program. However, the subject is what we've been discussing for how long. It's just that now it's just out in your face. It's in the open. They're getting ready to piss on everybody. Now, guys, we didn't have this 4 years ago. I mean, we had the whiny, crazy town Fruit Loops, of course, already planning on doing violence and talking about it, but they decided that we didn't stand a very good chance. And Trumpet was, in the open. Trumpet's going to do this for us. Trumpet's going to do that. Trumpet hasn't done anything for us. In fact, more against us than for us in general. The biggest thing is what helps to maintain the confusion is the constant fictional attack by the Jewish mob A versus Jewish mob B, and the two are playing us like a fiddle. That's what they think they're doing. It's what they have done forever in this country, especially in the last 100 years with the scams they've played. Kosher Mafia A versus Kosher Mafia B, and they're supposed to push you into the lesser of the two evils, but they're both evil. But you need to embrace that evil because that evil is betraying you, and it's going to screw you in the long run. But look, we'll get a few million if you killed in a war and a bunch of other great stuff. And, well, just shut up and do what we tell you to do. Yeah, okay, whatever. Now, this time around is for the whole Bill of Rights, so we better be ready to fight for it. Anyway, let's see. We got 5:46. This thing is 11 minutes and 14 seconds long. We'll see. Maybe we'll play it. Maybe we won't, because there are some other things I want to touch on. However, again, guys, where did everybody's brains go? The only possibility that I can see is again, something has brain fogged these people. A lot of these people, this is the other thing that gets me, and I watch people who go in, you can figure out kind of what a person did by what they wear to a degree. And I see a lot of people who were, I guarantee, they're older than me or my age. They're tradesmen. They were skilled labor. Some of them were probably engineers, or they were into business. So it's not like they didn't have their head on straight. So my question is, what was done to them to chemically castrate their brain? Because that's what's happened here. These people are not normal. They're not acting normal. They're not acting. In fact, I understand it's what the enemy tries to brag about. Well, we're all like herd animals, and we can manipulate them and herd them and blah, blah, blah. Well, that is proven to a point, but it's only because, again, of other instruments that were brought to play. And in any other past situation, people would not have been either this stupid or foolish to walk into this and perpetuate this the way that they are. There are other criminal elements tied into this.
May I?
Go ahead. Jump in there, caller.
You already mentioned the serotonin uptake inhibitors, the brain chemicals, we call them. The brain drugs are one thing. We don't know what's in the stuff that they're spraying up in the sky.
Right.
And that everybody breathes it in.
Yeah, that gets into the dual or combined ordnance technology, where one part's dropped here, one part's drank there. They combine in the body, they create a particular response. And
right.
that's
and
something.
The third thing. I was going to say the third thing, because I'll mute up. The third thing would be television and whatever subliminal stuff they're putting in the audiovisual stuff that we get piped from.
And even if we get an oblique, this is why here's the basic rule, and I explained to everybody this before. When you get all these pop-ups, guys, either turn your head or put your hand over your eyes. This sounds weird. If you think it's crazy, fine. But I'm going to tell you right now that the lighting sequence, the way that we're seeing like the flash or multi-pulses, they always had this in media before. When you were watching television, part of what cues the system from the network down to the local, now you don't see it. There are two systems. One is there's actually a pulsar that's in the lower corner of the screen, off of the screen shot that you see in the television. Those cue-up marks are mechanical, so to speak. They're physical. They're visible. But they actually are what the system used to read with a cathode ray tube or, a number of other different readers that they developed one after another after another. And this allowed for the local to keep up instantaneously with a network feed when it came to ad breaks, because that was the big thing. However, there's a lot of other activity going on with regard to the imagery in terms of, again, when you're looking at digital, and this was true especially, let's go one step farther. Let's go analog/tube technology, because the cathode ray tube or television tube, of different types, depending on what area you're looking at, have a series of little tri-dot or mi-dot systems, lines that go across the screen and create the image that you perceive, okay? Your digital system does the same thing, but at an even finer level, a much more refined level. And because of this, to be able to incorporate yet another tier of imagery behind it, so to speak, would not be difficult at all. Something to think about with regard, and the bigger the screen, obviously, in theory, you could blow something up. You'd actually have to blow it up and then do a software package that would break down what basically is the surface of the lake. Think about it that way, and then break down, and you see what the different layers are, say, in the pool as you go down to greater depths. That's what this would be. That's the technology you'd have to have. And I don't think anybody would really like what they would see if that was, something that could be easily done at your fingertips. Because I do believe that they are absolutely, they've got to be with certain environments and certain systems. And of course it overlaps, because when you pull something over from, say, you want to do a sound bite or you do an image bite, and you put it into, say, another format, and you put it on YouTube or you put it on Facebook or anything else you're doing, that it's still going to roll over. Now, to what degree, I don't know, but it's still going to, that technology is still going to roll over because you are simply reproducing it. Now, it will be a copy of a copy, and we all know how that works. You lose some of the center clarity of the image. So it may not be as effective that way, which is cool. On the other hand, if I were the enemy, I'd be perfecting, so I'd be satisfied with an 80% result if I can get you to reproduce it and crank it out and dump it on somebody.
Remember the example of bands trying to reproduce Pink Floyd out of the studio, and they can't do it because there's so much studio mix in there.
There's so many,
you can't do it.
There's so many layers, and Pink Floyd is especially one of those. Also, the Cars. You know, the Cars seem to be a very simple band. I'm going to tell you something, they're not. You know, I'll challenge you to go listen to a Cars song, especially from their early and middle albums, and see if you can pick out something that's missing. There is an inconsistent pattern to the construction of the song. And then on top of that, how many different layers of instrumentation do you actually hear? But do you hear them through the whole of the song? Each song in and of itself, you see, an album takes you on a roller coaster, a whole album. When you listen to an album, a record was engineered not just for the song, but the songs in sequence were supposed to create a cultural / an emotional response. To, you know, either to lull you into a certain sense of comfort and then take you somewhere else, etc. And the authors knew this. The people who made the album knew this. Okay, that's why they didn't jumble them back up. Well, let's just mix it up and make this fit better this way. That wasn't allowed. That doesn't happen. There is a reason for the construction of the sequence. Now, think about this. When you hear certain bands, imagine taking the same idea but constructing it into each of the individual songs. Okay, the difference. The Beatles, okay, listen to the Beatles are, again, simple band, right? What was the thing that made the Beatles work or so popular? It was their engineering. Now, that was a different kind of engineering. And the sequence and repetition is constant, so you have a different part of the brain that you are affecting to create interest in the subject. But with bands like Pink Floyd or the Cars, and there are many, many, many others that are in that niche, the individual song has non-repetitive process in it. It gives you a sound that you are comfortable with, but then it only lasts for a couple of bars, or even in addition to that, there are comparable studies, in other words, comparable production in sound that are on the edge of perception that work in the same routine cycle, a non-routine cycle. You got to go listen. In fact, get a good stereo system. That's hard to find. Everybody's getting used to listening to crap. And the really good sound systems, the really phenomenal speakers, try and find somebody who has one anymore. Most everybody bought into let's get the small stuff, man. And what you've got is digital hack now. You have very few pieces of equipment that produce the sound intended. To a degree, that might be fascinating because it doesn't create the same effect. On the other hand, who knows what kind of sound candy they're putting in the subliminal too, which brainwashes you from another direction if it's the new production. But for people who are kind of scratching their heads about some of what we're talking about, how about
quadrophenia?
Yeah, if you listen to a lot of the new music or rehash of stuff that's been out there, you have this newly redigitized and remastered. What does remastered mean? That means that they took what you could hear, but it was in the subliminal. And I've mentioned this last couple of years several times. Old Black Water, Keep On Turning, Mississippi, yeah, that song, Mississippi Moon, right? Now, if you listen to that song and you're listening to an original off the album, listen to the song now that it's produced and out there, and it's the remix. Why does it not sound right? Well, because what they did, they took the primary tracks and dragged them down. They took the secondary and the semi-subliminal tracks and brought them up into the perceptible. This gives you an idea of just a fingernail scratching of what we're just talking about here when we talk about subliminal construction. and how many different ways it affects the system that you don't even realize, okay? The fake-ass news system, all the fake garbage is done. If you pay attention, and they really did this when they were desperate in the 90s, when they were fighting us in the early 90s, they started introducing background music into propaganda in the news media. Ominous sounds, ominous noise. You know, this is the militia. This deep, like monotone track, and almost like it was a horror movie, like you're getting ready to be attacked. And that's what they were doing. That's what this was. The people were being subliminally but yet consciously being propagandized and conditioned, and we pointed it out, and all of a sudden they backed off on it. It's like, guys, Mark. And we recorded it and played it on the air multiple times, so everybody goes, hey guys, why is there background music in the news media? Anyway, we got a caller. Go ahead, jump in there.
Yes, hi Mark. I got a really good one for you. This is John Doe from Arizona. Anyway, I went to the doctor earlier today to get my prescriptions for insulin refills. Anyway, he phoned into the pharmacy, and I went next door to the pharmacy after I got done with the doctor. And
I'll tell you what. Can you stay right there? We're going to come back quick, but can you keep going when we come back?
Okay.
Stay right where you are.
All right.
Everybody, stay right where you are. God bless the Republic.
The New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire's on the run.
And we're on the march both day and night.
Hoorah. Kick them a slats, beat them down hard. Don't let them get back up. People bend their legs and elbows backwards. I don't want to kill them right away. I need to talk to them and find out who sent them, and then who gave that person the orders, and who else they might know that we need to know. We'll be back here in a few minutes. Second hour of the Intel Report coming up. Everybody be patient. Caller, stay right where you are. We'll bring you right back up as soon as we're ready.
Okay.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
Join Mark and Todd for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
The 12-gauge autoloader.
Sure.
The 45 long slide.
Yep.
With laser sighting.
You betcha.
The Uzi 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay. They'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second hour of the afternoon intelligence report. I'm Mark Kernke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, southeast, southwest, and east. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, live stream as we speak, and AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, CB base stations, and ultra-net hallmark and golden spike technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, CONUS, the outlying 2 states, territories, and the clock, 6:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Communications Tuesday. It is the 8th of September. It is the 12th year of open Fabian socialist and obvious Soviet socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020 Old Earth calendar, 2020 Dance of Swords, Battle for the Republic. You're in the middle of it. Congratulations, we're going to war, and in earnest, master the trade, get ready to become part of the competition, because we have a big competition we're going to be in and are right now. We got a caller who's been so patient. Caller, jump in there, please.
Yes, hi. This is John Doe from Arizona. Anyway, what I was going to tell you was that I had a little adventure today while I was going to go get my insulin. Anyway, I got to go to a new pharmacy that I hadn't been to before called Uptown Drugs. And the lady at the counter, she gave me a bunch of new customer paperwork to fill out. So I said, fine, and I filled out the paperwork. And then she said she couldn't give me my prescription because I didn't have a mask on. She said for people who don't have masks on would have to use the drive-up window. Well, we ended up doing that. But anyway, I was talking to Luke Azana, and he said, yeah, get a Corky show and tell him about it. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are about being denied medication.
Because they have the magic space barrier over there at the drive-thru, right? Where they have the coronavirus. Wait a minute, weren't you already in the room with them?
Oh, yeah, I was in there for a good 10, 15 minutes filling out the paperwork.
So you've already grossly over-contaminated the whole area with your evil, wickedness, and physical person, but all of a sudden the world has changed and we can't sell you your prescription inside unless you put a mask on, but they're probably behind a counter. Are they already behind plastic, and do they already have a face mask on themselves?
Well, the lady I was talking to, she had a face mask on, well, half on, but they have a big, they had a big plastic barrier up, but you can actually
right. All the nonsense that means nothing, but is basically for the benefit of creating the ongoing idea that the police state is a good thing. You know, you have to have your dog muzzle, and if you don't have your dog muzzle, then Comrade, Ilvanovich there can't give you the Sovietized sponsored drugs that were, otherwise. Well, wait a minute, you were already contaminating the air. Like I said, base work here. You already didn't have a mask on. You were very happy. They were very happy to try and get all the intrusive questions they could from you to promote a bigger police state. But then when it came to actually serving you and the reverse, in other words, they're serving you, you're not serving them now. When they have to serve you, then all of a sudden a whole bunch of extra rules were reapplied that up until that point were, in theory, irrelevant.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's about a typical double, what's that term, Star Trek? Double dumbass. There we go. Remember? Double dumbass. There you go.
Oh, so true. Anyway, Luca was trying to talk me into suing them, but they gave me one of my bottles. But,
just remember, treat them like the stupid puppy in the litter that they all are. Because, like I said, I'm finished as far as these people totally disgust me. The ones that are supposed to also should know better, who are some of my seniors. many are my seniors, had better education. I think a more founding education. You had more information available, and yet everybody seems to have thrown their brains out the window. That's why I'm disgusted with all of these people, because it demonstrates that something else is going on. You probably heard our conversation here on the air. There's got to be something else going on, because this level of stupid doesn't always exist every day. But it's a combination of propaganda, subliminal government drugs that they were already, like I said, Prozac, Halcyon, Zoloft has been the big one, 20 million additional, and all that is a variation on the Prozac family anyway. All of these psychotropics are genetically engineered. That's the first thing everybody needs to remember.
The super high concentrated fluoride. That's what they are. They're
right. They're variations. Yeah. Well, exactly. If you look at the all of the patents are publicly available, and there's make a whole series of programs just on the history of the psychotropics and where they came from. Before that, it was salts. Most people don't realize that. Okay, lithium is a salt. Lithium salts. That was the family that was most dominant, which, by the way, didn't have a whole lot of good benefit either, any more so than what they're doing now. But for, blowing somebody's brains out or, putting them on the shelf, that was what they used, and had variations on it. But Prozac actually goes back to the 70s, and they couldn't get it passed because the clinical studies that were demanded demonstrated that it was a dangerous, very dangerous, lethally dangerous drug because of its side effects. It would have been passed at the same time that aspartame was passed. Remember when aspartame, the fake sugar came into play, the chemical? Aspartame was supposed to come in, and Prozac were supposed to come in together. And something one of our callers mentioned earlier about, what are they spraying us with? One of the things that I always wondered about is when they do these 1, 2, 3 taps like this, if it wasn't that they planned on, especially when aspartame came out, that was when we had the big Carter, get the guns, garbage going on. And Carter was pushing, told the ATF go after AR-15 owners, harass them however they could. 1977 was the big jump. That's the big benchmark. If they'd gotten what they wanted, they'd have had the mass shootings, and I'd be willing to bet mass shootings and other violence, because they had had the aspartame and the Prozac out at the same time. Both were proposed at the same time, and here's what historically they're benchmarked for. Aspartame was the first authorized genetically modified foodstuff through the FDA. Prozac was the first genetically modified family of drugs from the other end of the industry to be authorized. But it took longer to get that done because they couldn't conceal the detrimental effects. In fact, 7 times they brought Prozac forward. The first time was when aspartame came out. Then they kept going up to the Food and Drug, and they just brought the same damn studies over and over, and they apparently didn't pay off enough people. The 7th time they did. They obviously bought somebody or killed somebody or, threatened somebody, whatever they did. And they got it through, and from that point forward, we saw mass shootings. The Prozac prodigies, as I've called them for years, for decades, popped out then, and it starts out with Patrick Purdy. There was one other shooter before that. If you go before the Patrick Purdy shooting in the schoolyard, you won't find any mass shootings. You won't find, in fact, before that, if you used to ask the person my age, mention 2 mass killers that are really notable. Well, the clock tower shooter in Texas, everybody would mention that guy, and he's like by himself. And the other was Mr. Speck in Chicago, but he didn't use a gun. He went into a nurse's dormitory and went room to room and knifed a bunch of nurses to death all in one night with a butcher knife. He didn't shoot anybody. Those are the only 2 that would jump out at anyone before the Prozac wave hit. So there is no doubt, and I guarantee it. I'm not even questioning. The only question is to what degree or how refined it had progressively has been. It was 100% instigated, these mass shootings, by the government, and it was for the purpose of promoting the police state and trying to disarm the population. Period. Everything else is irrelevant. And the beneficial side effect, Look at the zombies you get out of this. Go to your parking lot. Sit down in the store rather than run in and out to your grocery store, like where if you go to wherever you're going. Sit out in front and watch people right now. Some people are obviously thinking they're only going through the motion, so they just quick put the rag on and then they go in the store. But watch how many people have been totally zombified. And that is the only way to describe them. I always watch people. I've watched people. I mean, that's just one of those things. I always watch the conditions around me. But it's really obvious now. And if you sit down for just half an hour in front of the store or an hour, and you watch people come in and you get to see them come out, they're not happy going in, and they're not happy coming out. There is no happiness. There might be furtive. That's a term I would say is most common. There's a furtiveness to everyone. They're all pensed up. They're all tensed up. They're all going in. There's no pleasure going to the store. If the shopping experience, I want everybody to think about this, the shopping experience is supposed to be something that was a pick-me-up, a make-you-feel-good. Now it's become like a cultural, nasty habit that you have to suffer with, and you're going through the motion even though you don't really know why anymore. Think about that. What joy is there in going to a store anymore?
Oh, there isn't any.
Yeah, it's all assets. You've got asset this and asset that. And then you might have an asset you don't even know coming up and trying to get in your face, which you don't want to do that with me. Of course, I look a little Tasmanian devil right now, so that's cool because they might look at you. I've had several do this. They kind of look at you. They realize you're looking right back at them like, how can I kill that person? And they realize that there's no courtesy or kindness and no acquiescence and no cowing down. It's more like, I'm just waiting to see what you think you're going to be stupid enough to do. You just go ahead and try it. We'll find out about cultural contact here in a minute. How's that sound?
Oh, by the way, while I was working at the pharmacy filling out the paperwork, this lady and her husband came in. They were both wearing masks, and the lady went up to the pharmacist and basically begged for a flu shot. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Anyway, they came to me and said, do you want a flu shot? I guess it was the irritation in my voice that said no. They backed off from me quick. So,
you could sit there in a lobby and, go, if it's like you take a can of Dinty Moore with you, stew, and with a zip top, little small one. Like, remember, this is a little trick. And whenever somebody comes in for that, it's like, well, I had one and I've just had one, but I'm not feeling very. Spew out a mouthful of Dinty Moore stew and then start to shake. And then, the flu shot. I just had the flu shot. I don't know why this is happening. Watch to see how people respond.
Hey, Mark.
Come back. Where are you running to? Come back. Yeah. I mean, I am totally. I am. Like I said, I have no respect for any of these people anymore. If they're this insanely stupid, I sure as hell I don't believe they have any right to, in any way, shape, or form, try to impose their politics or their ideas upon me. I'm finished with them. I really am. I believe personally, like, there is no such thing as an election coming up. There's just one level of stupid or another, and both of them, in fact, here's the thing. You'll see the rioters on the street wearing the dog muzzles just like you do the other Fruit Loops wearing the dog muzzles. So they've all bought into there's a certain amount of Kool-Aid they all like to drink, people. This is the best example of what I've been saying. Go ahead, we got another caller. Jump in there.
Yeah, Mark, this is Fluffy. You know where I'm at here at the nursing center? I refuse to wear a mask when I'm going down the hallway. And just about 3 days ago, I was going past the nurse station and they're yelling like, you gotta wear a mask. Put on a mask. And I heard one of them say, I'll put a mask on him. Started coming toward me with one of his coffee filter masks. And I just turned my head and looked at her because I figured if she put her hands on me, I was going to try to break as many fingers as possible. And wouldn't you know it, somehow she got the message and stopped. And
I think
after she stopped, I said, "No, I don't think you are."
Well, I think part of this, again, too, see, like I've told you, is there's a thing about hunting where the demeanor, what it is, everybody calls it bad vibes, but that is accurate. I've tried to explain this to people, and I've seen it. I've lived long enough. I've seen it. I've also experienced it when I've been in the field. Don't stare at anything too much that you're hunting at, because they will perceive you. We do project a tremendous amount of energy through our face, but most important from our eyes, people. Whatever this is, whatever it has to do with the physics and the psyche and the construct of our existence, I don't care. I have seen it enough that I'm telling you, if you present the proper demeanor and it's like in reverse order, like when somebody finally decides, like the kid when he finally started shooting people, you can sense that you have a lethal threat upon you. Now, I don't go out seeking this, but if you come to me and you're going to try to do something contrary to my physical person, then my energy is going to be projected accordingly. And I believe that that's exactly what they register. Most anybody...
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it every bit, because I intended to break fingers, or at least, and the woman stopped. I didn't make a threat, but I guess it was there right there on my face and in my eyes.
Yep. It's one of those things that I think, number one, we are going to have to man up on this. That's one of the things. It's our job to do this. But, again, I'm watching some of these men. What gets me is all these people walking around with, now we're like in 3-4 weeks of everybody can be more public, or a couple months. Guys, they're wearing dirt rags on their face. The guy that I was talking about this last hour, he's got this bright yellow face mask on, and there's a greasy smear on an angle, and there's dirt on both sides where the cheeks come down, from the cheekbone down on an angle to the chin. So it's obvious he's been wearing this thing all over the place. Well, how is that saving him from anything? What does the inside look like if the outside looks like that? You know what I mean? I want y'all to think about basic cleanliness, and how on the one, and all this is symbolically, it is the same thing as having women wearing the veil in the Muslim religion for the same purpose, for submission. Your enemy knows what this is.
Isn't it also for? I've been thinking about it. I believe it's for dehumanizing everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember reading about how in World War II they would tell recruits, if you don't think you can kill that enemy soldier, shoot him in the leg. And don't think of him as another person. He's a target. He's not a person. So they work to dehumanize the enemy. And of course now, everybody has been dehumanized with these masks, right? Out.
Oh, and it's more that, well, you know what would have been funnier than hell is, like I said, take one of the face masks and put it over your eyes. Mm-hmm. Walk down the hall. I wanted to do that. Would be kind of fun. The only one of me is, like I said, I have wicked humor in mind. Get one of those little blue face masks, put it on your ears, put it over your eyes, get a blind stick, like a blind walking stick. Make one up. Just get a dowel, put some red and white lines on it, okay, big line bars, and go walking into the place and tapping on the door on the way in and walking through with your face completely uncovered down below, but the face mask over your eyes. And wait for somebody to insult you and say, well, no, you're not wearing the face mask right. What, you don't like blind people? What? Oh, no. They would go into brain fart because, you see, everybody's been conditioned to be apologetic about one element of what we're doing. In other words, handicapped people, you can't call them handicapped. I'm a blind person. You don't like blind people? Oh, my God, no. Oh, God, Norman Coordinate, but you're not wearing the mask right. I'm wearing the way I think I need to wear it. Well, you don't like blind people? This is the way a blind person wears this. Yeah, but it's now a little bit. Well, what? Wait and see. In other words, just throw BS out of it, but make it so all of these panty waists are nonstop apologists. Look at what we had going here. They backed off on covering it, but you still got it going on. Getting down on one knee or getting down on your belly. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no respect for any fool stupid enough to do that. I don't expect anybody to do that for me, ever. You don't get on one knee for me. We might get down on one knee for God, but there ain't nobody here on this planet, God. We didn't fight an American war for independence so we could embrace all this bull, this BS that all has to do with this monarchical or deep monarchical and deep pecking order, caste, social garbage. Getting down on your belly, you worm, you rotten skunk, you excrement, you piece of trash. Oh, we all got to get, and of course the blacks got this big thing with kissing people's, they're kissing feet. I don't give a hell. I don't care who it is. I don't care. That's the most disgusting thing to me to even think. First of all, I would never expect that of anybody else under any conditions anywhere. But then these jackasses and asshats are pumping that here. That's why I would shoot their ass. That is why I will shoot them. That disgusts me to no end that these fools think that somehow, it's like I said, you all learn about sports, shut the sports off. I haven't seen anything with hockey where they've done anything stupid, so I won't say anything about hockey yet. But if at the moment, in fact, if any of you can tell me, did they bend their knee? Are they all, because you see, if you're a Christian and you did that and you were bending your knee to God, oh, they were ransacking you people. They were beating them down. All those Jews that run these sports operations were hating on any Christian who was bowing and, kneeling, not bowing, kneeling and praying to God. They were they'd castrate, lobotomize them and tell them they were going to fine them. But all of a sudden, all of these Africanus Babinists are demanding more free stuff, and everybody has this theme. And all these asshats are being told by the bosses to get down on one knee. Well, they can go to hell. Ain't no way you should be doing anything towards that bread and circuses operation, but I hope it's teaching you all a lesson. Now, if you're so stupid and idiotic and ignorant that you're going to continue to proceed to watch any of that garbage, you've got your head so far up your arse you couldn't pull it out with a crowbar if your life depended on it, and I really don't want you around me anyway. That's about as stupid as the day is long, as dumb as you could possibly get. Again, they're spitting on everybody, and it's this constant insult by the kosher mafia against anything and everything American. Why? Because they hate you, and it isn't sinking in. That's why, again, with the election, irrelevant. It is not going to be anything other than a brawl, and in fact, they're already bragging that up. In fact, I was going to play this piece here. Bake your bagels, by the way. Yeah, Oiga Vault. Let me see if I can find this here. I know, like I said, certain terms give me a flag and a flare and tell me who's paying for it, right? But I am going to play this real quick. I think I can. This is the give credit where credit's due. We're playing this because I don't want to paraphrase, but the information and, again, the discussion is in line with what we have been talking about, but it's from another angle. And the only reason I'm going to do this is because some of you aren't going to be able to pull it up. It's DAN space BONGINO. I do not know what episode, or I'd be able to tell you, and I would do that. However, the discussion is reading quotes from, and in fact, you'll get all that information in this piece. It is 11 minutes and 14 seconds long. That pulls a chunk of time out. I don't know. I'm going to put off on that still, maybe. You can look it up yourself. I'm going to do that because there are other things I did want to touch on. That's a long time, long block. Well, again, if you can, it has to do with, you might be able to put Dan Bongino, or forgive me, I'm butchering his name. Bongino, Bongino is what I think it is, but if I'm wrong, you're going to hear him say it himself. He knows how to pronounce his name better than I do. Just like Kornke, Kernke, Kronke, Karenke, I've had great people could never pronounce my name right. Okay, get over it, live with it. Hey, that's what happens. Other than I could be a panty waist and go, oh my God, you can't pronounce my name right. Oh, I'm going to piss my pants and lament at you. I laugh only because it's tough when you have more, so many consonants and vowels combined in a big long name, and mine's not even a big long name. I'm not Romanian. I love Romanian names. Everybody gets confused over those. Anyway. We always use that whenever we're doing other work. Seriously, we do. That's why, that way the enemy always has to fumble up or fumble screw on spellings. That's why you do certain things in certain ways, people. Anyway, let's see. Other things I wanted to touch on. I probably shouldn't mention this, but I will. But and this is a supply and support thing, by the way. Attention, attention, attention. And let's do this. I got to go over to Sportsman's Guide. They've got one deal. Actually, they've got two deals. I'll mention both, and I'll regret it probably because I need more. But you guys need this too. And I've now seen examples, and I had a couple of my people actually put everything on, and I confirm sizes and all the other good stuff that goes on with it. There is a rain suit set over at Sportsman's Guide. Well, there's 3 items, but we're going to do it this way. Surplus rain suit. And this is a top and bottom. And let's see if I get the right ones. Set. I'm doing this on the air, but I'm doing it with one hand doing one thing, one hand doing the other. Here we go. They might have sold out. I would not be surprised. Let's see. Anyway, nope, we're good. Okay, it's on sale. Miltech waterproof rain suit. Attention, attention, attention. I want to get this out, you guys. I got a chance to look at these. They are serviceable. One of the nice things about this is that while this is in the ACU, they went with a more muted color range, and it is not as bright as the regular ACU, so it actually leans towards the loam green brown rather than the gray pavement, grays and with limited amount of sage green. This is over at Sportsman's Guide, www.sportsmansguide.com, www.sportsmansguide.com, www.sportsmansguide.com. And again, it's Mil-Tech, M-I-L-T-E-C, Miltech waterproof rain suit. They have them up to extra large. I bought extra large, and I also bought mediums. They are truer to size, and they claim they're running a little small, but I don't think so. Anyway, they are extra large, large, medium, and small. They are $11.29 a set, pants and jacket. They come with a roll-up and fits in the collar hood, so they do have a hood also. They're mid-grade. They're not super heavy-duty, but they're heavy-duty. They're service duty. They're usable. And the price is right, $11.29 for a set. They are on sale for the moment. They were $20. $11.29 Buyers Club price. And this is over at Sportsman's Guide. And the item number is WX2-193351. That's WX2-193351. And other than that, whatever quantity they have left, they have left. Interestingly enough, they did have these in other colors, but the only color they have left is in fact, I'm going to do it this way. There we go. Army Digital is what it claims. But it's close enough you could get away wearing this, on service. So the ACU is pretty well on the outbound. But it is a good pattern, actually works well. I got a chance to look at it, and I had a couple people model them, had them open everything up, had them put them on, and they're sufficiently oversized to go over your cold weather gear. So the size is about what you need for, like extra large for extra large, large for large. If you take a large, go the extra large, get a bigger one. Remember, you want to be able to go over your heavy coats too, your winter coats, like you might have a light parka. So this is a good solution. And again, they are $11.29 a set, top and bottom, Miltech waterproof rain suit, small, medium, large, and extra large. And the only option is Army Digital, but it's a decent system. It works. In fact, I hopefully will order some more myself. And next is coveralls. There is an ACU coverall. Again, this is a flight coverall. But clothing is stupid price, okay? And I've been mentioning this many times on the air, so that if we can find if we can find anything that's reasonably priced, I will bring it up, and we'll try to track down the the best for the cheapest. In this case, everything else is, we're talking over $20, $30, $40, $50 a set, and they only have these in large, and they're in ACU, maybe because it looks like they might even sold out, because I'm looking for what it is that I purchased, and they are $13.50 for a coverall. That is cheaper than a pair of shirt or a pair of pants right now. In fact, you can't find pants for that price. Here we go. Good. They do have them. They only show them in brown, but they're not. Okay, here we go. Grab your pen. This is another one. For any of you guys that are average, long, like large, this is a really great buy for what it is. And I wouldn't mention it for the fact if you're looking for additional clothing, camouflage, something you can put this over, put all the other junk over top of it. Nobody's going to be able to know for the most part what you got on anyway. But if you're tech crew, if you're a mech crew, if you're looking at aviation, and you wanted a couple extra set of flight coveralls, this is a good choice. This is cheaper than anything else right now. Fox Tactical Air Force Zip Coveralls. Fox Tactical Air Force Zip Coveralls. Fox Tactical Air Force Zip Coveralls. This, again, is over at www.sportsmansguide.com. Buyer's Club price, $13.49. You can't buy a pair of pants or a shirt new for that right now. You can find pieces. But this is a complete, throw it on, your whole hind end is covered, and you're in something tactical, okay? Size large only, no other sizes. ACU is the pattern, but it's not the brighter. Again, it's still pretty subdued by comparison. I like the way it turned out. So you can see a picture of it. And you got an idea. It has all the pockets where they're supposed to be. It has the paracord rip pocket in the thigh. It has calf pockets, zip legs, adjustable waist, so you can loosen it up or tighten it up as needed. And it's $13.50 for a complete coverall, and that is large size only. But it's a generous large, as far as I can see. Like I said, I just had some people model, and they became my showroom people. So I said, thank you very much. I needed to see that. They got what they wanted. I got what I needed out of the information-wise, and everybody's happy. So, again, that is over at Sportsman's Guide. Another item that is cheap and affordable, but especially if you're listening and you're looking at mech crews, good choice for a mech coverall that you can throw on real quick. Everybody's in the same gear. And if you're a little smaller than large, come on, guys, you can make that fit. Remember, it does have an adjustable waist, by the way. So it would work for a lot more of you than you might think. Anyway, solution on that. Now, next, still at Sportsman's Guide. I'm going to regret this one. I know they're going to be gone quick, but they have Italian Navy surplus denim jeans, new, $7.69 a pair. Now, I don't normally do this because, number one, I'm going to tell you, I don't like blue jeans. Can't wear blue jeans, but that's another issue, mostly. Anyway, $7.69 for a pair of blue jeans. I'm wearing a pair right now. I got a pair, wanted to try them out, see how they work. They are a really good cut all the way around. They don't bind anywhere. They're navy jeans. You got to remember, you guys got to work in them. They're deck pants. But for $7.69 a pair, they have only extra large left. Just in the last 3-4 days, they had small, medium, large, extra large, and 2X. For some reason, the XLs didn't sell out, but everything else did. All of the smalls, mediums, larges are gone. The only size they have is extra large, and they're $7.69 a pair. I was going to buy some more of the smaller sizes, but I can't get them. Why? Because they sold out. That's why. So these are $7.69 a pair, an excellent price. Take a look at them, see if they're worthwhile. Now, the other item to parallel with that, and these are worth the money too, Italian military surplus Navy maintenance crew bib coveralls. These are all brand new, so are the blue jeans. They're not used. These come in size extra large and 2X. Yeah, but no small sizes. This has been happening a lot, and I don't know why. It's very rare that you find big sizes first before you find others. And right now, that's what's left, 2X and extra large. Italian military surplus Navy maintenance crew bib coveralls, brand new, $16.19 for a set. That's for ready to go. And these are brand new. And I'll tell you what, material's good. They're comfortable. In the pants, I haven't had a pair of these yet, but for the price, go see what a pair of bib coveralls are actually, bib overalls are running right now. These are, again, great for work. If you were in the shop, they're a cotton polyester blend, but they are in a twill, and they're very, very well built. So the Italians don't do junk mostly, and this is, of course, I haven't run anything that made it as junk yet. But I'll say mostly because I haven't seen everything the Italians have been surplusing. But these items are in excellent condition. And again, a lot of the pockets and, different little snip points that you normally, you would need for the kind of work you're doing. If you're listening out there and you're looking for a set of bib overalls, then $16.19 a pair makes them the best price so far. And again, I already tagged them. I'm going to see if I can get a few of the 2Xs while we can still get them, because a little extra space means you can put insulation underneath. So definitely worthwhile. And as a matter of fact, that's rather interesting. And last but not least, somebody's asking, where were the Mish helmets? Okay, now, if you've been looking at the new Mish helmets, the intermediate one, the one with a kind of half of a side ledge on it like the old Fritz helmets, U.S. military Mish ACH helmet like new, $134.99. That's $135. Can I throw the penny in? I will. For the price, these are definitely worthwhile, and they're at Sportsman's Guide. So if you were thinking about getting a Mish helmet, these are Kevlar. These are exactly like the ones the other companies are offering, except they're not $250 a piece. Yeah, you heard me. So basically you can buy almost two helmets for the price of one. And these are a military U.S. contract helmet, just like the other ones that they're offering on them in the system right now. So why spend twice as much money? U.S. military Mish helmet, if that floats your boat, I'm not interested in it per se, but if it's what I had in front of me, I'd put it on my beaner so fast to make your head swim. Anybody see the picture of the guy from Chicago this weekend that took the 45 to the head? Maybe. I've been sharing that picture quite a bit because it's another example of why you carry IFAC and why you carry dressings. But here's the thing. The guy took either it was a ricochet or a deflected or a tired bullet, smacked right into the upper, just above the temple. Otherwise, it had knocked him out put him out for the count. But as it is, the bullet is sticking there in his forehead. And you know what? Any helmet would have stopped that. You hear what I just said? Any helmet would have stopped it. Instead, he got it burrowed into his head. But this is an example of what I've told you about, especially in an urban environment where your concentration of fires are in channels and can, belly flop, out and down anywhere around the suburbs, so to speak. Helmets, any helmet, even a bike helmet, probably would have stopped that, but any kind of military helmet would have made a difference.
Hey, Mark.
So helmets count, and if you watch that guy, of course, the guy probably had a concussion, for sure. Certainly probably had a fractured skull, because it's still going to smack you somewhere. Wherever it hits, it's going to crack. But he was standing, and he's still cognizant, and other than the fact he had, a headache, he's got half of a 45 slug sticking out of his head. Okay? Now, with the helmet, considering where that guy got hit, that would have stopped all of that. So just a heads up. Another example of why we have certain tools in the toolbox. We got a caller. Who do we have? Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, I just want to bring something up I saw recently. And if you go back actually a couple weeks, there's each show will have a different thing going on. North Country Off-Grid on YouTube. I was watching this morning. They showed you, and also another guy called Skinny Medic on YouTube, how to properly, install front and back a chest seal. And also they were working on using the nasolaryngeal airway and a few other things. So I just thought, people, they're good training videos. The guy who actually does them for the show is a trained EMT. It's not some guy who, looked at something or, the guy's got credentials. And he's the one that shows it. He also, the last one was how to put on an Israeli battle bandage, inclusive dressing and that, and, how to do that, and so on and so forth. Another thing, as far as buying, this is a different topic. Being that we have entered, into the grand solar minimum, in the coming years, like you said earlier, this war is not going to last a year, 6 months, or 2 years. It's going to go on for a long time. People need to buy, so we're going to look at mostly above just below and definitely all above the Mason-Dixon line. You're going to have rain like you've never seen, a lot more snow, and cold. I mean, it'll get to where we hardly even have a spring or fall. You'll go from winter right into summer, right into winter. And that said, all the winter boots with the most thin slate you can get on them, and definitely, like you said, the rain gear, you're going to need a boatload of rain gear and a boatload of thermals. Carry multiple pairs, vacuum sealed, whatever, to keep them dry in your gear of thermal clothing, because what we're going into is it's going to be wet. I mean, we're talking totally like pneumonia weather, wet and cold, and keeping dry will be the most important thing, because the pneumonia kill you sure as a bullet, and more miserable too. So I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Well, one of the things, especially with the rain gear, I kicked myself in the rumpus here. There was a step up in the cost of everything as far as ponchos go. There is a Turkish poncho. You guys look around to see what the best price is. I haven't had time this weekend, but it is it's a neat little rig, and it will work in most areas. But it also comes with gaiters. It comes with leg gaiters and with arm gaiters, okay? So for everybody out there, if you're looking right now, finding a real military poncho, or, one that traditionally matches our needs, here we go. Turkish military surplus reversible poncho gaiter set new, $26.99. These were cheaper only a month ago, less than a month ago, 2 weeks ago. They just jumped in price. They sold out when they replaced them. The replacement coming in is like, oh God, that's kind of like twice what they were. Now, what's neat about these is that they have basically what is a brown earth scattered gray and white snow camo on one side, and they have a brown range on the other. And for Michigan, it's a brown green. I like the combo. It's almost like the old French, not the French green lizard. Most people are familiar with that. It looks very much like the old French brown lizard pattern, which I had a limited quantity of for years. I had a source for. That stuff worked like a Predator uniform in Michigan. This would work the same way. The color combination is really great for where we are. It's got the doe gray, doe brown, and then a dark brown and a medium green combination. And it's in a bit of a haphazard pattern, which if you're not looking right at it, even if you see the person, I had this happen when I first tested the pattern. I looked at the guy, one of my scouts, and I turned away, and he bent down, and he reached for something and came back up facing away from me. I couldn't see his face. He was completely covered in the camo. I couldn't find him. I knew where he'd been standing, and I was trying to figure out at about 30, 35 yards where the hell he went. And until he finally moved his head, and I could see part of his pink face, I couldn't find him. Okay, the pattern wouldn't allow me to focus. This is the best part. A real good camo pattern is disruptive to the point where the brain keeps going from light to dark, light to dark, light to dark, and it can't register something in a what it considers a common, pattern until it sees a familiar geometric structure. Like, again, I saw the side of his face, then I could pick out the rest of his body. And there was no effort on his part. He was wide open and out and clear, but his background, he was, the way he was standing with a full field of background from field to tree line, he literally disappeared, and he was about 35 yards from me at the most. He was actually was one of my point men on what we were doing in the operation we were in, training operation. So there are patterns out there like that. This one is an interesting pattern, may not work everywhere. Remember that its reversal is in the snow camo range. I really like that pattern. I actually tried to find over the last... whoa. We got somebody tapping. Over the last week, I tried to find one of the foreign companies that might have this pattern available. And I was interested in actually buying uniforms in the pattern, but I can't find anything comparable, so I don't know. I would assume the Turks may have a uniform like this. If they do, I haven't seen it, and if it is, it's probably a stupid price, and I'm not interested in it. If it's too expensive, it's not worth the time. I mean, we'll make it ourselves. Something we are already discussing with our people about base manufacturing that needs to be reestablished. One of them has to do with clothing manufacture. First, we need cloth. But that's a whole process unto itself, and it is an industry that was gutted in the United States, and it's going to take a long time to build up what took 200 years to develop and build the way we did here before. NAFTA and GATT screwed us in a lot of areas. The good thing, we know where we're going, so we don't have to have the in-between time, and we can get back to where we need to be very quickly. Well, we get forward to where we need to be very quickly. Best way to describe it. As always asking again, that's the Turkish military surplus reversible poncho with gaiter set for brand new, they're unissued, for $26.99 at Sportsman's Guide. But I'm looking for a better price. Major Surplus should have this. A couple of other surplus companies. So if anybody wants to track it down, see if we can find a price, it should be half that. Maybe a third less, I would hope. But it's become popular, and a lot of people are buying it. Go ahead, caller, jump in there, please.
Shelby, Major Surplus does have it for $19.95.
Thank you. There we go. I knew it. Again, that's a far better price. That's what we're looking for. Appreciate that. So again, that's majorsurplus.com. www.majorsurplus.com. I don't use one supplier. If one supplier's, short in an area, guys, or too expensive, you know what we're going to do. We go somewhere else. They don't advertise with us, but if I see something, we'll hawk on it right away. We're going to put our claws in it and drag it away before anybody else does. So majorsurplus.com, there's a first solution. And again, that's about a third less. Turkish military surplus reversible poncho with gaiter set over at Major Surplus. I don't believe they're sized. There's no sizing to them. It's one size fits everybody, which is cool. So there's another rain suit issue, and it is, again, a little different poncho pattern, but it is a poncho, so it'll cover all the junk. The only thing I don't know about that particular kit, remember, guys, everybody always asks me, why is it the poncho doesn't line up at the bottom when you hang it on your person? Anybody ever notice this? Have you noticed that one side on the original ponchos isn't quite even with the other grommets, as far as where the head cap is, your head hole where you've got the hood? There's a reason for that. If you put the poncho on the way you were supposed to use it, you're also supposed to cover your gear with it, right? Well, you wear it in a backpack. If you're wearing a backpack, that ledge is going to take up so many inches. And so what they did is they made sure that it wasn't just flat in one height so that your back would ride up. And you'd have the back of your legs are exposed and be more likely to get splashed. Now with these gaiters, that's not as much of an issue. But the military didn't issue gaiters. If they issued you the poncho, you were probably using the poncho by itself. Probably didn't use the rain gear, the rain top, rain bottom, which most people wouldn't double up. Why? Because most of the period of time when the poncho was being used for the guys my age, it was Vietnam. In that 100-degree weather, you didn't add any more layers of anything if you could help it, because it'd just be a sweat box for you guys. See how that works? So they engineered the equipment to accommodate giving protection, but also for all of your equipment, including that backpack you might have on or that radio you might have on. Remember, the radio operators and all the other people had something mounted to their back. They were snails carrying their house on their back. It's that simple. Weren't that slow, though. Anyway, ponchos, we're also looking for military, but Austrian are kind of thin. The German ones are out there to a degree, or there's the copies. And yes, I know, there's lots of the nylon copies. They're available, but look at the price, okay? We're looking just as expensive as what we were just talking about. So, ain't nothing cheap anymore. Not anything really, really cheap. If I can find it cheap, I'd tell you about it. I swear to God, I'm going to make sure we jump on it before anybody else does. That's why I mentioned those rain suits. The price is reasonable. I've seen them. They look serviceable enough. They work. Another thing, keep an eye out, because there is going to be another wave of Italian municipal, but paramilitary. It's already on the shore, so to speak. And I got a heads up from one of the wholesalers I've dealt with for many years, that there is a big wave of the Italian civil military, or the equivalent, probably whatever they have in the way of militia or constabulary or whatever. Most important, it's not black. It's in camouflage or in earth tones. I'd be happy with brown, but I don't want black. Okay, brown, OD green, sage green, any of that, or like I said, the Turkish gear like that where we see a camel pattern, that'd be fine. But black is not going to do it for me for a couple of different reasons, and I mentioned this before we go. Antifa wears black. The police state wears black. All the people that want to take your guns or take your rights, they wear black. If you're going to, quote-unquote, a protest, do not wear black. You are doing nothing but creating confusion. But I look cool. No, you don't. You don't look cool. Your enemy's wearing a color, shoot, no shoot, hit, no hit. You don't want to have to hesitate. You won't want to make a boo-boo mistake and strike somebody that's an ally. If you're buying these helmets and equipment and it's black, if it's gear, you got to try to avoid wearing that during any of these events. If it's a helmet, put a camo cover on it other than black. It's that simple. Do not wear black. If you're going to a protest to counter the communists on the street, do not wear black. Do not wear black. Do not wear black. Do not. Can I emphasize that enough? That's why mistakes have been made, or people have screwed up or hesitated when they want to strike at somebody and they can't be sure because, well, Bob came with a black helmet and a black vest on, and the other guy, he was wearing all black, and I got a bunch of people here thrashing at me, and I don't know which one I should hit. On the other hand, if you guys are wearing shoot, no shoot, hit, no hit, outfits, then you can strike out if you have a gaggle of people around you. And when I punch that twit in the face, that's the one that deserved the punch. You see how that works? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Anyway, we're at the top of the hour here, guys. For everybody out there, again, organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Establish a 510 program and try to give you places to go where you can pick up gear cheaper so you can do that. A 5-man fire team comes in bare-ass naked. When they show up, they should walk out of there with everything they need so they can go right into a combat situation and be effective. That's what a tactically dispersed supply system is all about. God bless our republic. Death to the New World Order. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire's on the run. We're on the march. We're going to get out of the way for now. Edward taking over. More live radio coming up. Don't you touch that dial. And we'll be back at 8 o'clock for the evening intel report. God bless. Bye-bye.